Hey guys, so for this video I'll be unboxing Sunmi's second mini album, Warning, and doing a review as well for it, and talking about Sunmi in general. Honestly, I'm very proud of her, but I'll get to that on later if you want to hear my thoughts on like what I think about this album and just her career as a whole so far. So, like always, before I start an unboxing, I like making a comparison to a jewel case so people have an idea of how big the album is. So, this is a regular jewel case. This is how big the album is. It's very thick, as you can see. Very good packaging from Sunmi this time around. And this cover, iconic. I really love this cover. And here's the front, the back. You get a track list on the back, very uniquely designed. I really like this design. And this color, I really like this like dark purple. And it feels nice too. I love this texture. Then you get right here the spine. Again, sometimes some K-pop albums don't have anything on the spine, which is why I always show this, but as you can see, it says Warning by Sunmi. And you can also remove this, so this is what it looks like. This is the dust cover, and it's a picture of Sunmi, and this kind of fits. Oh, I guess this didn't fit on the frame. There. Yeah. This photo, and actually, because I haven't looked through this album yet, fits with the whole concept of a siren, because a siren is kind of like a mermaid. Like, it has to do with like a mermaid, but it's not a mermaid. It's like a mythical creature. It looks like a mermaid. If you're familiar with like Greek mythology and all of that. And obviously siren is also like a siren, like a noise, you know, when you hear like an ambulance or police siren. So she had a lot of play on words in this whole concept, which is just why I'm really impressed with the delivery, not only with this packaging, but the songs and the music videos. Like, super impressed. And again, with this purple color. And now let's get to the photos. Again, the track list, great. You get 7 songs, so this is a very good track list. The first song is more of an intro, so it's not too long, but still 6 tracks. It's a good amount for a mini album, and 3 of the songs were singles, so you are getting your money's worth for the songs as well. And this concept for this whole photo book, like she's like a siren, like a mermaid with this fishing net. Great photos of Sunmi. You get lyrics for Attic. This photo book is very artistic, but it's done well. Like, and then lyrics for Siren. You do get a photo card in this, but I'll show these at the end. Oh, she looks great here. She looks very different though, with this like purple, I mean not purple, green hair. This is really interesting. Kashina and heroin. This picture reminds me of, if you know Secret's Hyosung, she had was it her second mini album? She was in a tub. Reminding me of that photo. But these are gorgeous pictures. She photographs really well. Obviously, she's been in the game for so long, so I'm sure she knows how to take pictures. And then the credits, and then the disc. Very, very good, solid disc holder. Alright. Oh, let me go back to the photo card. This is what the photo card looks like. I think the Wonder Girls don't have photo cards. So this is technically my first photo card for the Wonder Girls. Obviously, Sunmi. No, they're not technically a group anymore, but yeah. And then you get this. It changes. So very nice. I'm gonna put this right here. Alright, so let's go back to the track list. So I'm very impressed with the overall sound of this album. It's nothing like anything that is being released or has been released in K-pop. Usually a lot of groups, solo artists, etc. are doing the very same style of sound. And you know, it gets really repetitive. Obviously, some do it better than others, and they make a little twist here and there. But Sunmi is like on her own lane, lyrically, concept-wise, dancing, everything. It's very, very original, and just very her. And it comes off as very authentic, and I think that's why the Korean public receives it so well, is because she doesn't seem like she's trying too hard to impress anyone. Like, she's just being herself, and she's just, her form of expression is done flawlessly, in my opinion. And like this past year, since Kashina, and even with her first solo work with JYP, she has grown so much on me, because I never really paid attention to Sunmi, because once I got into K-pop, the Wonder Girls were having, you know, that issue with their US promotions, and then they went back to Korea, and then they had a hiatus. Sunmi got out of the Wonder Girls. She went to study, but she was still training, so there was always that hope that she would return, because they always said she can come back whenever she wanted to. In my heart, I knew she was going to come back for some reason. I just didn't know when. Obviously she did, and then they did the band thing, and then they disbanded. So and I think with her return as a solo, when she did, you know, Full Moon, 24 Hours, that was like pure perfection as well. But it felt like it was more crafted, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't too much her own ideas per se, and it was more of JYP's just formula for her to be successful. Like, it worked, but I felt like she had had more ways to express her creativity, and she did it with this release. Obviously, she got a JYP, and I think the reason why she left is because I think JYP was being a little too controlling towards the Wonder Girls as a whole. And when you have very creative people who, wants to be more hands-on, it's really, mm, how is it, frustrating to stay in a company that's going to control almost every single move that you're going to do, especially when you already, validated your status in the industry, because the Wonder Girls never flopped ever. And I feel like they could have done anything, and they really proved themselves with their last single. Their last single was that "Thank You" song. But the "Why So Lonely" was a Wonder Girls produced song, and I felt like I was hoping that the Wonder Girls were gonna, continue doing their own thing. But yeah, we already know where that is. So this album really great. I liked every single song in here. Obviously, my favorite songs are the singles, but I think that's the reason why they're the singles. But the B sides are really interesting as well. I love the intro. I wish it was longer, and Black Pearl and the last song that is in this album. They're very interesting as well. It's like so different from everybody else. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Obviously, Kashina did really well. It just solidified her as a solo artist, and the reason why she's able to do all of these things. Now, Heroine and Siren are flawless. Like I don't even know what else to really say. The concept for them, the music videos for all three songs. Oh my goodness. And I think Siren has got to be at least in my top 5, top 10 songs this year. I really have to narrow down my top songs this year. They're not that many, so I know that is within at least the top 10. But I just gonna have to make a list. What else? Heroine is another favorite song of mine this year. And my issue with that song, which is not necessarily an issue, is that it sounds basically identical for Fighting for Love, Fight for Love, by Cheryl Cole, or just Cheryl now because she, divorced that guy. Um, that that's one of a song I really like. Obviously the original version. This is like a remake in my opinion. Like you cannot tell me that song is not similar to this one. It follows the exact same melody. But I guess I like the Korean version too. That's like my issue, and I'm really, really critical when when it's really evident that a Korean artist makes a copy of a Western pop song, and obviously she did not screw it up. Like, and I don't want to like call out groups or anything. That like you made a remade of a big successful song, and it's happened like this past 2 years. A couple of them have released something very similar. And like there's a specific group that comes to mind, and I really like them, and that album and what that release like just made me like a little bit less interested in them. But yes, that's like the only issue I have with this album, is just that Heroine is kind of like a remake of Fight for Love by Cheryl Cole. And yes, okay, so my overall thoughts, I think Sunmi is going to become a legend on her own, and as a solo, because she's already a legend, obviously, because she was part of the Wonder Girls, and you she was able to have a successful career as a solo on her since her first solo release. But she hasn't released that many albums yet. I'm really looking forward to her upcoming releases. I don't know if she's going to be doing the same promotional cycle like she did for this. I think it was genius for her new company. I think whoever's in charge of like her marketing or whatever, like they are doing a really great job, because especially when it's her first solo release under a new company. It's really risky because sometimes it's really unsuccessful, and they did a magnificent job with Kashina. And I'm really upset because I that like album is extremely rare now, the single album, because I would have gotten it if I didn't think it was gonna go out of print so soon. But that she really just hit it out of the park with that. And then Heroin did really well. Obviously, it had some controversy, but she still had a successful run this time around. And I don't know if she's gonna do like the singles and then make the album, which I think is really good because it really ties in everything together, for remembering an album. And that's why I think, that's what I like about the American music industry, is that whenever you hear an album, you're like, oh, I remember those singles, or I remember this promotional track or promotional single or this b-side, because you listen to it as a whole body of work. And usually in K-pop albums, in K-pop releases, you only get to hear or see, the song being performed, just one song being performed, if not two, when it's like a b-side that's a promotional single. And so whenever I'm gonna look back into this release, I'm gonna remember all these three songs. And then you're more likely to listen to the whole album. That's just kind of like, just in my opinion. What else? I really just want her to continue this little single album, or if she's gonna do um like a full release, that she gets to do like music videos for it. But I think it's smarter to just release the singles, because then each song will have their own shine. And that's a big issue when it comes to especially YG groups, because except for poor Blackpink, who just had a music video for Do 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 Do. But like Icon, I think, had like a couple music videos. Um, yeah, for like the first release and stuff. So really, really happy with this album. I watched like right, and this is just like me, like, oh, I want another album now, because she's just so great. She's like becoming like one of my favorites. And like this is what is keeping me interested in K-pop. Like all my faves, that have groups and that have done solo work, they have done a magnificent job. I cannot wait for Yuri solo and for Taeyeon solo, and like I'm so happy with this. And then Boom, who's also rumored to have like an album this year. Like I could care less about any other new groups, because my faves are doing their thing. And what makes me the most happy about this is that this is doing so well, and it shuts everybody's mouth saying like, you have an expiration date when you're a K-pop artist. But I'm so glad, because she does not have a solid fan base when it comes to just like overall support, because I'm sure the physical sales for this are not that high, but the general public backs her up, and this is why she can have a career. And just buy this album regardless, because then she's more likely to release more albums and not just do like digital releases, because I think being able to hold this is like a part of that musical journey that you have with the artist. So I'm really happy that I have this album, and I have her first mini, which is really difficult to find now. And yeah, I guess I rambled too much with this, but that's how much I really like this release. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend listening to this album as a whole and purchasing it. Obviously, for Sunmi releases, kind of this is just on continuation with my collection planning. I'm gonna buy her stuff within the first few months when it's released, because I'm afraid this album will go out of print, like what happened with her special single album for Kashina. Yeah, and obviously they're not gonna make a bunch of copies of this, because she doesn't have that solid fan base. But I hope she really gets to build her own career, because I feel like she can really be up there with like Hyuna, and Taeyeon. She's definitely up there. Obviously, like she um, is charting really well and winning number ones, but I think another release will really solidify because she only just has two mini albums. So I feel like we need another one to really establish her. But she's already, on everyone's radar. Alright, guys, bye.